The United States has entered an active military escalation with Iran, and markets are watching one place like a hawk, the Strait of Hormuz. Because about 20% of global petroleum liquids consumption flows through that choke point. If that gets disrupted, seniors will not feel it in theory, you will feel it in prices. And when energy gets shaky, seniors do not feel it in headlines first, they feel it at the pump and the grocery register. Point number 1. The essentials squeeze comes first, and it can hit fixed incomes fastest. Here is what senior accountants want you to understand. When conflict in the Middle East raises the risk of oil disruption, the price of fuel can rise quickly. And fuel is not just for driving. Fuel is built into almost everything you buy. Trucks deliver groceries, utilities rely on energy inputs, shipping costs move with fuel costs. Even basic household items often become more expensive when transportation costs rise. So if you are retired, this can feel like a sudden pay cut, not because your check went down, but because your dollars buy less. This is why the first protection step is not complicated investing. It is budgeting for an essentials spike. Do this simple stress test. Imagine your essentials rise by 10% for 60 days. Gas, groceries, utilities, prescription copays. If you can absorb that without changing anything, good. If you cannot, you need a plan now before prices move. A practical move many senior accountants recommend is building an essentials buffer for the next 1 to 3 months. Not forever, just enough to prevent panic. That can mean buying ahead on shelf-stable basics you already use. It can mean pre-planning gas trips and combining errands. It can mean locking in utility budget plans if your provider offers them. It can mean pausing discretionary spending for a few weeks to build a small cushion. This is not fear, this is preparation. Because the people who struggle most in uncertain times are not the people with the least money, it is the people with no buffer. Point number 2. Social Security can lag real-world prices, and that gap is where stress grows. Many seniors assume their Social Security cost of living adjustment protects them right away, but cost of living adjustments are calculated using a specific historical window. That means benefits respond after prices have already moved. So if we see a sudden burst of higher prices, seniors can feel squeezed first, then relief comes later. This is why the right mindset is to treat cost of living adjustments as a backstop, not a shield. A simple move is to build a mini bridge for that lag. Set a rule for yourself right now. If prices spike and your check does not change yet, you do not solve that gap with credit cards. You solve it by temporarily tightening spending and using a small buffer. Because high-interest debt is where short-term price shocks turn into long-term financial damage. Point number 3. The sneaky categories rise next, and seniors often underestimate them. When people think about war and inflation, they think gas and groceries. But the budget pressure often spreads to categories that are easy to miss. Home repairs, car repairs, insurance renewals, travel costs, delivery fees, even simple services like plumbing, electrical work, and home maintenance can become more expensive when supply chains tighten and fuel costs rise. Here is the trap for retirees. These costs show up as surprises, and surprises create emotional spending. A senior accountant will tell you the same thing again and again. Unexpected expenses are normal, but unplanned expenses are what create panic. So the practical move for this point is to list your likely surprises before they arrive. Pick 3, a car repair, a medical event, a home repair. Then decide in advance how you will cover each one, not with a perfect answer, just with a plan. That alone reduces anxiety. Point number 4, inflation from energy shocks can change interest rates, and that hits seniors from multiple directions. This is the middle point, and it is one of the most important. When energy prices rise, inflation can rise with it. And when inflation looks stubborn, interest rates can stay higher for longer. Many seniors hear higher rates and think, good, my savings earns more. But accountants look at the whole picture. Higher rates can mean higher borrowing costs for family members you may help. Higher rates can mean bond fund price swings. Higher rates can mean housing affordability pressure that affects local budgets. Higher rates can also keep insurance and financing costs elevated across the economy. So this point is not about predicting what the Federal Reserve will do. It is about understanding that war-driven inflation risk can change the rate environment. The practical move is to protect yourself from rate ripple effects. If you carry any variable rate debt, you should know exactly what rate you are paying and what triggers changes. If you have large purchases planned, like a car, major homework, or travel expenses, you should consider whether it is wise to delay, reduce, or break the cost into smaller pieces. And if you hold bond funds, you should understand one simple truth. Bond funds can go down in value when rates rise. They are not the same as individual bonds held to maturity. This is not a warning to sell. It is a reminder to know what you own. Because uncertainty is not what hurts seniors. Confusion is. Point number 5, pensions and retirement income are usually stable, but you should verify what actually backs yours. This is a credibility point that most channels never explain. A lot of seniors hear pension and assume it is untouchable and guaranteed forever. Many pensions are solid, but accountants still recommend knowing the structure. Is it a government pension? Is it a corporate pension? Is it supported by an insurance backstop? What happens to survivor benefits? What happens if you take a lump sum? What happens if you take a monthly payment? In uncertain times, seniors can get pulled into rumors and fear. So the move here is simple. Do not guess. Confirm, find your pension summary document. If you do not have it, request it. Know what you are entitled to. Know what options you have. If you do not have a pension, apply the same principle to any retirement income source. Know what is guaranteed. Know what is market-based. Know what changes and know what does not. Point number 6. Market volatility becomes dangerous for retirees because of withdrawal timing. This is the last super strong point. If you are still working, volatility can be annoying, but it is often survivable. If you are retired and withdrawing, volatility can be dangerous because when you withdraw during a down period, you may be selling assets at lower values. That can permanently shrink your future income. This is why the best retirement plans are not just about what you own. They are about how you withdraw. So, here is the practical move. Decide your withdrawal order before you need it. If markets are down, you want a plan that allows you to pay bills without selling long-term assets at a bad time. That is where a buffer and a bucket system matters. And this connects directly to the final point. Point number 7, the Senior Crisis Money Plan. One page, simple, and done in 30 minutes. This is the part you can do today. Step 1, write down your survival number. That is the minimum you need each month for housing, utilities, food, transportation, and medications. Step 2, create a 60 to 90-day essentials buffer plan, not necessarily by spending more, by allocating what you already have and cutting what you do not need temporarily. Step 3, make a 10-minute cut list. Subscriptions, unused memberships, convenient spending that does not improve your life. Step 4, write your withdrawal order. Which account pays bills first? What do you use if the market is down? What do you use if a large expense hits? Step 5, add a scam shield rule. No money decisions on breaking news days. No sending money to anyone who pressures you. No clicking links from text messages about war aid, government checks, or investment opportunities. Step 6, write one trusted contact and where your key documents are. Insurance, Social Security information, pension documents, bank contact numbers. This is not pessimism. This is what accountants call control. Because when a crisis hits, the worst feeling is not losing money. It is not knowing what to do. Now, if you want to participate, tell me 2 things in the comments. First, your age. Second, the state you are watching from. And tell me which point felt most important to you right now. If you want this one-page crisis plan as a simple checklist, say checklist in the comments, and I will pin it. This video is educational content only and not personal financial advice. Thank you for watching Senior Success.